Hi everyone. I'm going to do another sale video. This is Barnes & Noble Arrow Video Sale Half Price Sale that started, I believe, today, October 21st, and I believe it's extending through the month of November. So Barnes & Noble will have both a half price sale for Arrow, but also for Criterion. I think Criterion sale starts November 4th. Could be wrong on that, but I think that's, I've read a couple places on the internet where it's November 4th to November 28th. So now in my local Barnes & Nobles, they do have Arrow displays, but they basically have the newer releases or the all-time favorite kind of titles, a lot of horror titles in stock, in store. But the 10 I'm going to talk about today that are in my collection, they are all available online. They're in Barnes & Noble's online catalog. Now, I have about 10 other Arrows. I don't have a big Arrow collection, but the other 10 that I'm not going to show you are not currently available on Barnes & Noble's website. And I would also say, I also just checked, the sale just started, I guess, earlier this morning of October 21st, and I checked Amazon to see if they were matching the prices, and voila, the 3 or 4 that I checked also were selling Arrow videos on Amazon half priced. So if you only want to buy a couple that aren't in store and you want to save shipping, I don't know what the threshold for shipping is on Barnes & Noble's website, but they are available and perhaps on Amazon and perhaps other discount Blu-ray sites besides Amazon. All right, well, let's get to the 10. The Big Clock, 1948. I did a video on this, and 8 of the 10 movies, releases that I'm showing, I did do videos, individual videos on The Big Clock, a really great film from 1948, a really overlooked film, directed by John Farrow, starring the great Charles Laughton, and just an absolutely memorable role. Ray Milland is nervous. He's under the gun. He's suspected of murder, and he knows the real murderer, but he can't really divulge it. So it was remade as No Way Out with Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman, later on maybe the late 80s, early 90s. This is a black and white, moody, beautifully filmed suspense movie, and the suspense really ratcheted up as Ray Milland is fighting against time. Come Drink With Me, and this is directed by the great King Hu. And this is from 1966. I like King Hu's films. I've seen quite a few of the kung fu martial arts, wuxia kind of films. I don't think anybody did it better than King Hu. He really knew when to do, he doesn't overdo the general mayhem, and he creates some really interesting characters, interesting female character in this, in Come Drink With Me. This is a movie I've watched 3 times. There's something about King Hu's style, his approach to filmmaking that seems so classical to me. In some of his other films, A Touch of Zen, what's the other one, Raining in the Mountains, which plays on the Criterion Collection. I watch those a lot. Whenever I can't sleep at night, I turn one of King Hu's films on. This is one I talked about recently, Don't Torture a Duckling, from 1972, as part of my horror series on 1972, directed by Lucio Fulci. Has a couple very disturbing scenes in it. I can see why Fulci is considered one of the greats of the giallo film movement. He certainly has a very distinctive style to them. His style is very distinctive, and I'm going to be watching Lisa and the Devil soon and making a video on it hopefully before Halloween. Giallos are not up this is something new to me, so I'm no authority on giallo. I know that as far as Leo Fulci is concerned, I think this was his favorite film. I think he thinks this was his best film. This is a film I do However, I'm definitely in tune with them. That's Flash Gordon from 1980, directed by Mike Hodges. Star Sam Jones and Molly Anderson, names that actors that didn't go on to have prominent careers, but Max von Sydow plays the Emperor Ming, and Ornella Muti, oh, she's just fabulous in this movie. This is the 4K. This may have been the first 4K I ever bought. And this is generally in the stores. I think I was in Barnes & Noble a couple months ago, and I saw Flash Gordon still in the store, I guess because it is a 4K. But just a whole lot of fun. It's not overproduced, but what they had in production values is really great. And of course, Max von Sydow is just fabulous. Brian Blessed too is in this film. This is another part of my 1972 horror films series, Horror Express. Again, like as with Flash Gordon, this movie is just a heck of a lot of fun. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, acting together in many scenes. They become, as the movie progresses, they become friends. They were friends off camera. You can see the bond between them. Telly Savalas, when the movie starts to get a little boring, then Telly Savalas arrives, and boy, does he liven things up. And this is just a whole lot of fun. It was filmed in Spain, and it looks like a Hollywood film. I mean, it has great technical aspects to it. Now to Japan. This is Red Angel from 1966, directed by Yasuzo Masamuro. And this is a World War II movie focusing on a woman, a nurse, played by Ayako Wakayo. I know I'm not getting these names right, but I have to mention her name because she's so great in this movie, and her relationship with the doctor, and just the position of women in Japanese society, but especially women in the Japanese military society, and all the horrors of war, and it's just an absolutely superb film, a film I've never heard of before. This is a film I heard of before, again from 1972, an ecological science fiction movie. Bruce Dern, off in outer space, Earth things cannot grow on Earth anymore. Everybody has to live underground or without nature. So they try to preserve nature by sending pods out into outer space that are connected to a spaceship with all lush trees and bushes and plants and fruit growing, and like a Garden of Eden kind of thing in outer space. Douglas Trumbull, who had worked on 2001, he doesn't have anywhere near the budget he had in 2001, but he comes up with some just great effects, especially the robots here, and Bruce Dern, one of his really great performances. To Sleep as to Dream. This is the alternate cover, the Japanese cover art that I liked better than the English language one, from 1986, and this is directed by Kaizu Hayashi, a Japanese silent film made in 1986, a silent film, and in black and white. and it's sort of a mystery. It's got all kind of surrealistic elements to it. And it was made just as a labor of love. The director had never made a film before. He said it was time. I got to make. If I'm going to be a movie maker, I got to make a movie. So it's an inspiration. If you have that same sort of ambition, this is a film to watch, because it's amazing what he was able to do. He did get a great set designer to design these surrealistic sets, who really believed in the project as well. But this is what you can accomplish. If you really set your mind to it, you can accomplish something like this and get an arrow release. Next up, another giallo, What Have You Done to Solange, 1972, directed by Massimo Dallamano and starring Fabio Testi. And it's set in a girls' school in London. everybody in the cast is European. There's no British actors, but the exteriors, at least, and a lot of it is exterior, were filmed in London and in English. And it's about these schoolgirls that are being killed off, with no particular rhyme or reason. And Fabio Testi is a teacher at this girls' school, and he is the chief suspect. He's been fooling around with some of the girls, and then he, as in many giallos, there's a police investigation, and Fabio Testi and his wife also start to investigate to see what actually happened. Again, a giallo that is really good looking. It's a good looking movie. I'm not the greatest fan of giallos, but I think the two that I watched from 1972 are really worth your time. And lastly, and I've not done a single video on Flash Gordon and this is actually a double movie set from South Korea. Woman is the Future of Man from 2004 and Tale of Cinema from 2005, directed by Sang Soo. Now, I've never made a video by this director, but he is one of my favorite directors. And I've not seen all of these, incredibly prolific. I've probably seen maybe 15, probably a little bit more, 15 of his movies. I don't know how many he's made so far. He's probably made about 40 movies in 20 years. Woman is the Future of Man is really a good movie. The other film is good too, but I've seen Woman is the Future of Man many times now. And Sang Soo is, and I've not done a video on his movies because I don't know how to talk about them, because nothing much really happens. It's just young people or youngish people having in sort of relationship conflicts. All his movies just about are punctuated by long scenes sitting in restaurants and bars where people drink and they drink and they drink, and then they shed their inhibitions, and we learn what they really feel. But then, do they really feel that way? And that's pretty much it. You know, it's many of his movies are autobiographical. Again, I have a hard time even describing them or even recommending them. I think if you like Eric Romer films, you're probably going to like Sang Soo. There's other directors who he's similar to, but he's really not similar. Even with the Eric Romer comparison, he's off on his own. But like Eric Romer, he is a cult director, so he knows. His films are very modestly budgeted, but he knows he's going to have a certain amount of audience. And Romer was the same way. He knew, you know, I'm going to sell so many tickets in France and so many tickets in the U.S. because Romer was a big art film director, not a big art film director, but he had a cult following that would go to see. Like me, I went to see every Eric Romer film when it appeared in cinemas. Sang Soo, however, doesn't appear much you have to go to film festivals, you have to get him on physical releases, but he followed that same Eric Romer formula. Okay, so another recommendation video, this time for Arrow. I've never done a recommendation Arrow video before. What am I going to pick up? I probably have a couple new releases that I'll wait till the Criterion sale comes in, and then, you know, go to town. I'm going to buy 2 or 3 or 4, come out with a pile like this. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who listened. I do appreciate it. Comments are always welcome. Take care.